Okay, so the biggest event is happening really soon, like actually the 26th, so which is Mars retrograde. And so what happens is Mars is going to be in its best sign of Capricorn from May 3rd all the way to November 5th. So, almost like pretty much half the year, we're going to have Mars really, really strong. And it's crazy because it's in the middle of summer, which is Mars is the planet of heat and fire. Um, and so Capricorn, this image here is beautiful for that. It's like the goat, Capricorn, that stubbornness, that persevering. And Capricorn, it's like playing the long game. So Mars is usually really kind of explosive and just like the Aries part of Mars just wants to get it done like yesterday. But it's exalted in Capricorn where it sees the long game and goes the distance. So we really have that capacity this year to go really, really far in our lives. But there's other things going on as well. But first thing I wanted to note is, oh my God, the volcano erupted May 3rd, the day that Mars entered Capricorn. So I don't think that volcano is cooling off anytime soon. And in fact, there was another volcano that exploded as well in South America. So, and I heard rumors about another one in Northern California. So, things are heating up. Anybody want to comment on that? Are you guys on the Big Island or Maui, or where are you guys?
I'm on Big Island. They're everywhere.
Okay, cool. So that was just a trip to see that it started the same day, May 3rd. Like, whoa. Okay. So also what's going on is that Mars is also with the south node, Ketu, the south eclipsing node. And so this is where the eclipses are going to happen as well in July. And so what Ketu does, it's that tail. It's the body without the head. So it's where we spiritualize things and kind of withdraw from life. And so some of the indications of Mars conjunct with Ketu, the south node, is, kind of like hidden anger, putting on a happy face and being really kind of pissed off inside and hiding it. It's like eclipsing the Mars, eclipsing the anger. And so that could lead to people kind of bubbling up and then freaking out. And especially since it's going to be going retrograde as well, which we'll get into in a little bit. And then also people want to do their ambitious goals, like Mars is our ambitions and desires, and spiritualize it. Make it into something more refined and better than it could be. Like really go for it. And so, it's called the mission. Called the mission from God complex. Like only wants to do inspiring things in life. So, that can sound good if you're oriented in a good way with goals and such. And we'll look at that in a second. And then also, it makes people just kind of like not care. Just it hides and eclipses their ambitions, and so they just don't really want to show up. They're just if it's not inspirational, I don't want to do it. And supposedly, the first lady wore this jacket, which recently, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's like I really don't care. Do you? That's totally Mars K2 behavior. Really funny. And so the best thing to do is to have a goal, to have something to aim at. And here's Bruce Lee, very strong Mars, of course. He's a martial artist. And the goal is not always meant to be reached. It often serves simply as something to aim at. So aim for the stars and maybe hit the moon, but don't be disappointed if you hit the moon. Just aim, just go for it and get that grounding. Otherwise, you can have that apathy or that kind of frustration happen. So that's a good way to deal with this really high kind of spiritualizing energy. And so the biggest part is going to be when Mars goes retrograde, June 26th, which is Tuesday, I believe, all the way to August 27th. And basically, you see right there, the top diagram, Mars around July 27th is going to be directly on the side of the Earth and the Sun on the other side. So you'll see how Mars is getting really close to the Earth July 31st is its closest kind of peak of getting close to the Earth. And basically, the last time this happened was 2003, where Mars is this close. And I happened to be in New York at the time, and that's when the power outage happened all over the East Coast. So it was a testament to things heating up and kind of overflowing and being excessive. And that's really what retrograde planets are all about. It's the planet's closer to the Earth, you see there, and therefore it's brighter and stronger. So its planetary energy gives an overflowing, excessive amount of its energy, and people tend to be more obsessive with that energy. So with Mars retrograde, people can obsess over all the Mars things, their ambitions, their desires, their willpower, increased passion. Everything's just overflowing, and really, really high ambitions, like reaching for the sky. And, on a kind of negative level, it's being more assertive. It can cause you to be more like, no, I'm not going to do that this time. Being more Martian. Like Donald Trump has Mars in the first house in Leo from the Vedic perspective, so we don't got to get into him, but that's a quintessential kind of Mars in the first house, this assertive kind of Pitta attitude. And Pitta stands for fire, or it's also an acronym for pain in the ass. So, and that Pitta as well is this inflammation, that fire. And so things are going to get kind of swelled up and heated up, and it's summertime in this hemisphere as well. So, really doing a lot of cooling things is going to help with all of that. And having this kind of people getting really angry and, turning into the Hulk. So it's really good to orient everything to, more of a spiritual perspective, because we have a really incredible opportunity for these 6 months to gain a lot of progress and to make a lot of progress in our spiritual work. So dedicating to more of a kind of flowing energy style, which Reiki is exactly that. Yoga, Tai Chi, even acupuncture, and Vastu, which is like the Indian feng shui. Getting everything in right flow in your house, in your body, and learning about the flow of your stars, all 3 levels, to understand how to channel this really big energy of Mars in your life. And so, the Mars mantra is Om Hrim Mangalaya Namaha. So if you're having problems with these Mars things, you can chant that 108 times a day. Maybe initiate your practice on the first hour of sunrise on a Tuesday, which is Mars Day. That could be a really great practice to do. And other remedies is this fist of anger, to just release that anger and negativity. And so when we do the recording, you can see, you can pause the slide and see how to do it right here, the fist of anger. And so this Mars retrograde is going to have powerful and unexpected results in some house, of your life, in some area of your life. Like for me, Mars is in my 12th house. I'm an Aquarius rising, so Capricorn is my 12th house. So, I'm really could be more prone to the mission from God complex, and having this kind of even more Pisces energy of wanting to run on inspiration, wanting to have this idealistic ambition in kind of way with career. And it could be, in your 7th house of relationship. If you're a Cancer rising in Vedic, it would be in your relationships. So experiencing a lot of fire in relationships, or, the 2nd and 11th house could be your increased money and ambitions and resources, or 10th house of career, increased ambitions in career. So anything is really possible. Yeah, so this Mars retrograde is going to show up somewhere, and have these powerful, unexpected results in your life. So this is just the main reading, like your soul purpose. and just like knowing your Dharma, like knowing your right action and career. First of all, knowing your psychological profile, like how you're oriented in life, and then aligning that with your right career. What's the right action for you to take, so you can know with confidence and have full affirmation of that you're doing the right thing. And when all of your energies lined up like that, you're just pretty much unstoppable. And I feel like it's what's really needed for this excessive Mars period. And then we'll also look at the timing of life cycles. What karma you're going through now, and how to plan for what's going on now, and looking at what's coming up in your life. So that's 45 minutes for 75. And then the relationship dynamics reading, where we can look at compatibility with anybody in your life, like multiple people, like all of your family, your friends and colleagues, anybody you want to look at. And ultimately, it's knowing your own, what my teacher likes to call your personal baggage, like what you're going to bring into any relationship, no matter who it is. So first we understand that, and then we understand the other person's personal, relationship dynamics. And then we look at your compatibility, because you can have really bad relationship baggage and have good compatibility, and it can save it, or it can be the other way around. You can have good relationship dynamics personally, and then have bad compatibility, and then it makes things more difficult. So we can look at all those different people in your life, and again, the same thing, 45 minutes, one-on-one, over the phone. I really want it to be have that magic, to allow the omens to come through, to inform the the truth, I guess you could say, or to just let the light of the divine come through. So it'll be over the phone or Skype, however you want to do it. That's 45 minutes for 75 as well. And then we'll also look at another reading, is the astro location astrology, finding the places in your life where the spots in the world that give certain results. It's like looking at where you are now and how that's influencing you, and maybe a way to modify it, so that it could be more harmonious, or to increase it. And then we look at locations for anything really, but success, relationships, spiritual development, places to rejuvenate, vacation, all of these. And we could look also for multiple people in your life, like your husband or your kids, and we can look at everybody and see what each location is for everybody. And so again, 45 minutes, one-on-one for 75. And then, yes, the package. So all 3 readings for only $200, which is $25 off of the normal price for everything. And we can schedule them all at once, which is a lot of information, but I record it so you can listen back to it. Or we can, schedule it different, whatever works for you, really. So, yeah, that is my offerings. And we still have about 10 more minutes for any kind of questions or anything people wanted to ask or talk about.